Greetings and salutations, my friend. It is nice to see you. Thank you for joining me today. I am Jeremy Tank, and boy, I've got a lot to talk to about today. We had a lot of people connecting with me, joining me, following me for the first time this weekend. I'm not exactly sure what changed, what happened, what moved, but I love that momentum. I love that energy. I love the connection. So what I'm going to do today is just give you a little bit of my story, who I am, where I'm from, what I'm doing, so that if you are listening, learning, discovering me for the first time, you've got a little bit of an idea what I do and who I am and why I'm here for you, and actually why I believe some of what I believe. So the first thing first, I am an expert in behavioral branding, I am a master designer, and I am a rapid transformation therapy certified hypnotherapist. That's a lot of stuff altogether, and what that creates for you, what that creates in your life is transformation. Personal transformation, business transformation, life transformation, brand transformation. And what does that mean? Well, what I concentrate on is helping you realize what it is you want out of life. The things that you want to build, the things you want to release, the steps that you want to take to reach the future that you want to live. Because ultimately, I believe that you are here on this earth to be living your path, your future. And in the process of getting there, there's a few things blocking us. So let me go ahead and give you a little bit of history. Teresa, hi, I can see you're joining me today. So I'm just going to jump back in time and tell you a little bit about myself, since there are so many new people, so you can understand where I'm coming from. I actually I started my art career pretty much in grade school, drawing cartoons. I learned I kind of taught myself from different books how to draw, how to do art, fun, fancy art stuff. But I always geared towards like the commercial things, comic books, things that I actually saw art as a purpose. And from there, I enrolled in 2 different art high schools, and I learned how to do fine art. And fine art was not the world that was really for me. I met some great friends there. I learned a whole lot of information. I was influenced by, hundreds of artists throughout history. I learned how to analyze and see the deeper aspects of art and what the pieces that make something really important, that make something connect, that drives heart and intuition and gut into something visual, something somatic, something sensory. You know, because the schools I went to, they weren't just visual art. There was performing arts, there were singers, there were dancers, there were musicians. It wasn't painting, it was painting and sculpture and graphic design and writing. It was a whole curriculum based around the foundations of creativity, the foundations of really understanding what opens people's hearts, what pulls people together. Because science, math, physics, all of these things, they explain the world from an outside point of view. They explain the way that the world is from a mathematical point of view, from, a default 0 point of view. It's sort of like, it must be this way because this is what the math points out, so let's go ahead and find that out. Science is trying to discover the meaning of life through categorization, through quantification, through understanding and research. Art, creativity is understanding the meaning of life through emotion, through expressing oneself and making that expression connect with the viewer, the experiencer, the person on the other side. And that concept still really resonates with me today. I love that concept, that's what art is. One expresses it so that others can. Amazing, an operatic voice. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I value her friendship, and she supports me, and I always love seeing her on here. I moved from there and I went directly, I didn't even wait a summer break. I went directly into college. I started at the Art Institute of Phoenix. I went there for 3 years. I got a bachelor's degree in graphic design. Before I even graduated from that school, I was already hired and working in the advertising field in a small advertising agency called TTA Advertising. And we handled like AAA tour book advertising, hotels, local smoke shops, yoga shops, karate studios, car dealerships, rental car dealerships. There was a lot of Arizona local businesses. And it was fantastic because I personally got to work on logos, ad campaigns, newspaper campaigns, television campaigns. I was instrumental in building TV ads and just whole concepts that was a lot of fun. And after leaving there, I went to work in the pharma field, and I learned the highly regulated, very difficult field of pharma design. And I worked again inside that corporation. I worked as a part of a team, and we did logos, we did all sorts of banners and signs and posters, ads from all kinds of magazines and newspapers. I handled products like Solodine and Restylane, Perlane, Dysport, things that made people feel better about their skin, feel better about themselves, look rested. It was a fun place to be. I actually got to help out with a lot of videos. So I really, my talents, my insights, my knowledge cross a lot of media platforms. And that's always been one of my strengths. I can jump into things, and I actually have a lot of knowledge on a wide variety of topics, on a wide variety of media styles and media in general. Actually, social media is the one that, like, I'm learning more about that. I'm getting myself out there. I'm experiencing this. I'm connecting with people, and it's fantastic. It's great finding this sort of support. After the farmer world, I came up to Washington, Seattle. This is where I am now, lovely Washington. And I moved up here for my wife, who was going to school for acupuncture and Chinese medicine. She is now a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine up here. And I ended up absorbing a lot of the ideas, a lot of the philosophy of Chinese medicine, 5-element theory, yin-yang theory, learning all about energy, qi, learning a lot about how energy moves within the body, around in the meridians, and really how bodies use energy and how to focus that energy. It's just part of her being in that program meant that I learned a lot just through osmosis, being around her, and because I'm a curious person, I wanted to learn what she was learning as much as I could, in a reasonable way, right? And from there, when I got up here, I started working in the software industry for a company, a global enterprise software company who makes barcode and label software. And I worked with them over the course of about 5 years, rebranding their product, rebranding their company, helping them expand, move into a new building, really just blow it all out and in a good way. And they had a huge surge of success, global success. Things went fantastic. I left that company in 2018. I actually started my own company in 2017. I was attending a master's program online, and I earned my master's degree in media design, in graphic design, and I graduated valedictorian while holding down a full-time job. And while working with that software company and doing all of that global branding work, all of that marketing work with them. And I got my master's degree, and I started my own company. And in the time since, I've worked with several different people and seen sort of the mental handicaps that hold them back, that prevent them from really taking the steps that they need to take to jump their company forward, to really make a powerful impact in the business that they're doing. And last year during the pandemic, I went back and I decided, you know what, let me do something during this time that is really effective for my brain, really that will help my customers, really help my clients. And I earned my hypnotherapy certificate. I spent a lot of time learning and helping others so that I could earn that certificate, because what I discovered was that so much of what's going on is stuck in the mind. It's stuck in these sensations of feeling not enough, not worthy, it's not available to me. And I wanted to help people relieve that, to really boost their confidence, to know that everything is possible within there and everything is available to you when you step up and go ahead and go for it. And so today, that's just what I'm doing. I offer RTT hypnotherapy to clients. That's sort of like the first step thing. Like if you want to start moving forward in your business, that's where I start. Because just knowing that you are enough, that you can absolutely handle anything that comes up to you, that you can accomplish all of this stuff, whatever that is hugely helpful. Like sometimes we as human beings just need to know that someone gives us that support. And all too often, we don't realize that it's us that needs to give us that support. So RTT for me is a powerful way to let you know that you are enough. That anything that comes up in the world, you are beautiful, you are brilliant, you are amazing, and you can handle anything that anybody can give you, right? Anything that life gives you, you can absolutely handle, even if that means ignoring it for the time being, setting it aside for the time being, or just taking small actions that move you forward. That's all it takes. And you are perfectly responsible to that. Responsible meaning it's not that you have to do something or be something. Responsible meaning when something comes up, you are able to respond to it in some way. You can make a decision based on your life, based on what you want to do, based on your internal feelings about that situation. You are able to respond in some way, right? That's all it means. And that's a powerful message. And a lot of times in our society, in our world, wherever you are around the world, because I notice that there's a lot of people now who are following or sharing stuff who are in Africa or India or several other places, Mexico, which is interesting because I don't even know how you guys are watching this in English, which is awesome to me. The Philippines, right on, guys, and gals, right? So the whole point is, like, when I came into this, I really wanted to help people with their business. And coming out of hypnotherapy, coming out of that training, coming out of that step, what I realized is that a lot of people need not just that belief in themselves, but belief in their vision. Belief in the process that they're building, the company they're building, the business they're building, the life that they're building, whatever that may be. So I'm off. I started offering coaching, which is, look, let's just figure out that vision. And that's actually how I developed my manifest design process, which is the primary process on my website. If you go to my website, it's www.thinktankcreative.net. And the manifest design process is all about really identifying your vision, whatever that is. And I mean true vision, not just I want to make money. I want to make money. Why? There's a question that people don't ask that much. Why do you want the things that you think you want? So much of what we want is put into us, like the ideas, the concepts, the ground. It's a seed that's been planted in your head for years. A lot of that are stuff that, like, your parents wanted for you or that your parents wanted for themselves. But over time, being raised by them, it was just a seed planted in your head. And when you have the ability, you chase that dream. Not because it's your dream, but because there's something inside your head that tells you you should. And shoulds are not necessary, really. Shoulds, like, children learn in school. You should behave. If you don't behave, you will be chastised. You will be sent to the principal. You will be punished in some way. So we hear should, and really that triggers in most people a fight or flight response right back here in that limbic brain, the lizard brain, the primal brain, the caveman brain. It actually triggers a bit of a fight or flight response because you don't want punishment. At the base level, you don't want to be punished. You don't want to be shamed. You don't want to feel guilty about taking an action that you took. And so we've grown up hearing you should do something or you should not do something. And all of that training is to keep you on somebody's path. It's probably not your path. Teachers used to use that all the time. You should pay attention. You should do your homework. You should come with supplies to school. And if you didn't, then you got to face the opposite side of that spectrum, which is some sort of punishment or some sort of a focus, a guilt, a shame sensation. A lot of us are trained in repetition of those cycles over and over again of shame or guilt to keep us on a straight and narrow. Or punishment that causes anger, which causes more shame and guilt. This is called behavioral conditioning. And pretty much all of society is set up on this entire spectrum. Even today, as adults, if you walk outside, depending on your culture, it's heavily built, constructed, established on this sort of foundation of you have to behave a certain way in order to be a good citizen. And people consider themselves to be good citizens in all different ways. They don't always listen to those rules. And those are rules, those aren't laws. Which begs the question, do you follow the laws? Do you follow the rules? Do you follow what people have always told you? Do you find success in that? Because when we're really creating a vision, when we're finding our true goals, our true vision, the things that we really want out of life, a lot of times it's going counter to the way that we were trained when we were younger. When we hear you shouldn't do something, what does that tell you? Well, the first reaction is, well, why not? I want to do that, right? That's curiosity. It's a natural curiosity in people. In 5-element theory, the natural state of being is open. It's curious. It's ready for experiences. It's only when triggered by shame, by fear, by guilt, by things that could damage us or hurt us that it triggers a fight or flight response, and then we start down a fight or flight channel. But the natural state of people is open. It's loving. It's caring. It's curious. We're trained out of that. And this is where my knowledge, my insights into the law of attraction really come into play, because you come into this life perfect. Your energy comes down into this body. And when we look at quantum science, there's the energy side of things and there's the particle side of things. And energy is a wave. Energy is frequency. Energy is life. It is like the pure essence of life, ambrosia, if it were. And the particle side of things is the physical body. It's matter. It's when you add matter up, and it's cells and molecules, atoms and molecules become cells, become organs, become systems, become bodies. And all of that, at a fundamental level, is still energy. Atoms and molecules are still, when you go down inside of them, subatomic particles, quarks, muons. These are all just energy. These are collections of vibrations that just keep buzzing at a very low level. And it's really kind of funny because you, as a person, as a body, as something that is interacting with this physical world around you, are nothing more than a symphony of all of these different atoms and molecules that make you up, humming. You're a symphony. I love that concept. You are a symphony. And the more that you grow, the more that you learn, the more that you change, because you change every second, smaller than every second, every moment that your brain can recognize as a distinct moment from the next one, you are changing, you are shifting, you are growing, you are becoming different frequency. And it's really up to you what frequency you choose to embrace, what frequencies you choose to deny. But here's the thing, when you are brought into this body initially, when you are combined, that spirit, that essence, that frequency, that wavelength, that energy with the physical body in the womb, before you're ever born, what's happening is not like a soul popping up, poop, there's my soul, popped right in, haha. It's more like a funnel of the universe, because the universe is pure energy. Physics says that we can measure and examine approximately 5% of the universe, approximately 5% of everything. And what that means is that 95% of everything out there we're guessing at. We don't even have a real clue about it. They call it dark matter. And what it is dark energy. And it's only dark because we don't know. That's super exciting. Because what that means is that all of everything out there, and believe me, I think that people are a little crazy to say that there's 5 or 95 or 10% or what do we know, because there's no cap on the universe. There's no measuring beaker that says this is how much universe you know. It's infinite. It's out there. It's huge. It's a fun game guessing. It's always fun game guessing. That's what this life is about. We just get to look out there and guess what's out there. But the thing is, when we come into this life, there is a bonding of energy and physicality. There is a resonance. And you could actually look at this and say, okay, at the fetus level, at the zygote level even possibly, these energies within the atoms, within the molecules, continue to turn over and duplicate and replicate and build systems within themselves. There is an innate intelligence building this in. And when we look at this in terms of energy and particle, in terms of duality, in terms of physicality and spirituality, what we see is this vibration on the subatomic level that essentially is your symphony beginning to play. It's like an overture with just a couple of oboes and a flute, right? It's very light. It's very, because you're not even born yet. And we look at this from the energy level, it's like a giant siphon pulling in this energy through a vortex right down into that physical form, embodying it through the molecules. Which is kind of a cool thought, because that means that there's nothing wrong. Even as that fetus grows, as it turns into the baby, as it's actually born, there is nothing wrong. When I say you are enough, you are worthy, there's nothing in that child that is wrong. In all intents purposes, children can hear and experience the feelings of the mother even while in the womb, and that can have repercussions. Absolutely. That can affect programming inside. But what's happening is not that child saying something's wrong with me, something's bad. It's not the energy or anything about that. When we see these things happen, when we start growing, and even before we're born till about 7, the brain remains in a theta wave frequency, which is like hypnosis, which is like really deep meditation. And what happens is that is a super sponge for the brain. The brain experiences everything, and it remembers incredible amounts of information as it pulls it in and sucks it in, because we're not done baking. How's that? We're not done baking when we're born. It takes all of this in order for us to grow and understand community, the right things to do, the right ways to act, how to behave. It sets us up for the structure of life later. Which is funny, because so much of the way that we've been raised in this community, our global standing, has been within a system that we find more and more later on. There's a reason we have midlife crisis, a quarter life crisis, 3/4 life crisis now. It's because the way that we were raised, the way that we were trained so often, the systems in life, the systems in the world, the political systems, school teaching systems, community systems, were not good. They weren't good. Further in life, at each one of these milestone moments, we have to come back and deprogram what we've learned in a lot of aspects so that we can grow. Because what's happening is essentially this light, this energy, this frequency, this wholeness that comes into you in that fetal state. This vortex, right? Because that's what it is, the quantum field, the quantum vortex. It's everything connected, but you are frequency harmonizing with that quantum frequency on a very certain point. So you are the universe coming into this physical form and just checking out everything through these eyes, ears, nose, mouth, fingers. Just checking it out, what it's like to connect the two. And what happens in this training is that it's like filters start to go over the perception of that frequency. It's still in there, it's still deep, it's still pure, it's still loving, it's still open. But as we learn different things, we learn fear. Most of our brain, most of our early training is based in the fight or flight response. The fight or flight response, it triggers the limbic brain polyvagal response. Polyvagal theory is the whole idea that somewhere back here we keep connections that trigger us, to keep us safe, to keep us moving forward, to keep us alive. Well, we don't live in caveman days, so these days, a lot of those triggers are, my dad scared me, so forever I'm going to have this issue with my dad because he scared me. Oh, my mom yelled at me about something, so I'm going to have a behavioral programming about something that she yelled at me about. it ends up getting these deep traumas my belief is that they end up living in the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind, because mind is more than just brain. When we look at Chinese medicine theory, the five-element theory in particular, there are aspects of our body that correspond with these emotions, meaning that there are corresponding aspects of proteins and molecules and atoms that seem to hold a frequency of that fear, that block. I think of it like that there's a board game that's essentially marbles in a tube with a bunch of sticks in it, and you have to remove the sticks one by one. Well, we are that tube. This physical tube is that. And the marbles in there is the consciousness, is the energy that wants to get down, wants to flood on through, wants to be open and pure and loving, compassionate, grateful. And what happens is we have all those straws and toothpicks in the way, filtering it out. It's little bits, just little bits at a time, filtering out these huge experiences. Of course, if you have PTSD or tons of other issues, it's big blocks, right? Preventing you from being the true person that you are underneath it all. So this experience of life is really, A, learning how to be alive, and then B, learning how to remove these blocks. Learning how to get back to that sense of childhood wonder, curiosity, love, openness, compassion, understanding, right? Because when we connect with that piece of ourselves, then we connect with the truth of ourselves, and we connect with the truth of our vision of what we came here to do, or what we came here inspired to do. Because that energy is still there. And the more that we connect with that, the more that we connect with an inbound energy, the more that we connect with our vision, the more that we connect with actual actions that move us in the direction of our vision, the more that we transform our own lives, your own life. And the more that you transform your own life, the more that you move on the path towards your vision, building whatever that is. Because you know it's not, oh, I want to make money. I want to make money because. I want to make money. I want to make money because I want to have a home and a place and take care of my family and my wife and her family. I want to build a community somewhere. I'm looking for a place. I'm looking for ideas. I want to build micro home parks where lots of people can come and stay on a piece of land that is out in the middle of nowhere and it's gorgeous, and just stay in a micro home. I want to offer health services at these micro home parks so that people can go there and start to heal themselves up here and in here. And in here, all of the body, right? See, vision is about more than just getting something. A true vision is what you are doing to shift those around you. Because when we connect with that source energy, when we connect with the frequency inside of us, and we remove enough of the filters. Yeah, micro home parks. Yeah, right. Okay, so America, don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. My idea is actually to build a castle out in the country somewhere where there's mountains in the distance, put up a little farmland nearby, and then have micro homes stationed all around that property. So you embrace the huge landscape, you embrace this gorgeous castle nearby, and it's just a community space where everybody can be there and heal and embrace the gorgeousness of nature. That's my idea. I have 3 states that I'm checking it out, and I think it'd be just a blast, and just healing centers where you can go and live in these micro homes. That's my concept there. And see, that's the sort of thing that I think, I could say I want to make money, but it's not just for me. When I say I want to make money, it's so that I can create something that I know others will embrace, that I know will inspire others, that will give rise to something more. Yes, healing centers, exactly. My wife being a doctor of Chinese medicine and acupuncture, she's all about the healing centers. She wants to do that as well as traditional alternative medicines, complementary medicines, Reiki, you name it. She wants to put all that stuff in the castle, and as well as a cafeteria. So imagine, you wake up in your little house and you go to the castle and you have breakfast and then you go for a hike and then you come back. It just seems like a fun place. I want to do that. That's why I do what I do, because I have my vision, and it's something that's really deep in me. I love it. It's something that's deep in me, and I'm helping others on my path there. And the RTT, the branding work, all of my knowledge in advertising and marketing, these are skills that I have, and these are skills that I have grown over 96, 97, 20, over 20 years, okay? Math, not my forte at the moment. That's okay. These are skills that I've built up, that I've grown, and I know that business owners sometimes need a little boost. And when they need a little boost, it helps to, sometimes design a new logo, design a new website, so they can start living that. The idea of visualization and manifestation is to live in the future now, to embrace those feelings, to embrace the wholeheartedness of it, to embrace it up here and in here, to feel the emotions and the joy of experiencing whatever that vision is. And for your business, it helps to have someone who understands a lot of that sort of technology, a lot of that sort of mindset, that growth perspective, so that when you're like, okay, I want to upgrade, I'm ready to move into the next stage of my life, that you have someone, me, who actually understands and wants to help you achieve that vision and start building that vision. And that's the biggest package of things that I offer to people is look, we wanted a logo, you want to work on the rest of your everything, great. It's a lot of investment, it's a lot of energy, but at that point you are birthing a new something. You're upgrading your business, you're upgrading your brand, you're upgrading your life to a new something. And that starts with RTT, it starts with manifest design, and then moves right into that whole kind of branding design thing. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys today. I love that this weekend was a huge burst of new followers and new people that I don't know how you heard about me. I don't know who shared stuff, but I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And again, check out my website, thinktankcreative.net, thinktankcreative.net. So think tank, that's me, tank, Jeremy Tank, creative.net. And if any of these steps are things that you're interested or looking for your business, for your life, personal branding, if you are who do I know? I know that I have hypnotherapists, alternative medicine practitioners, soap makers, couple other people in that realm, NLP, children psychologists. In that case, a lot of those businesses revolve around your personal brand and sharing who you are in the right words and the right pictures, right? These things matter to your brain. These things matter to everybody's brain. And that is part of behavioral branding, using the right words and pictures to share what you're actually trying to get across to make sure that they understand. Communication is one of the most difficult things that we have in our modern society. It's also one of the easiest, and that's why it's one of the most difficult. Because inside of every one of us, there is a tiny universe. And in that tiny universe, you understand one thing and I understand another thing. And somewhere in the middle, we have to reach an agreement of what that thing means. And that's hard. That's really hard. So practice patience. That's my last words for today. Practice patience, practice gratitude, take time for yourself, understand where you're coming from so that you can offer patience to someone else and connect with them. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for staying with me today. Thanks. Bye.